So, it's a new day in the workroom. Sorry, that's not enough. It's the final day in the workroom. And there's only 4 of us left. I'm getting excited. We're so close, you can taste the crown. Maybe they shouldn't be leaving it out in the open for so long.
Kitty wipes away the mirror message. She then walks over and says she almost got away with never having to do that. Sonia admits she thought based on the critiques last week, Blamely might have been considering sending Kitty home. Kitty says that's ridiculous. Emma does agree that Kitty got harsh critiques. Kitty says there was no way she was going home her first time in the bottom 2, and if Blamely wanted her gone, she would have been gone.
I think Kitty barely made it past last week. I think Blamely was leaning to keep Julika, but she just didn't have the track record to justify it. And I think it was a lot closer than Kitty is realizing.
I can't say I wasn't nervous for Kitty when I heard Blamely's critiques. She basically said Kitty wasn't competing on the same level as the rest of us. But I am relieved she's still here. Because the thought of her not in the finale with me is heartbreaking.
Emma says last week is in the past now, and they all have a shot of making the finale. Hunk agrees, and Sonia and Kitty cheer.
Look, I'm happy to be here. But I can't say I'm not entirely over last week. I'm just trying not to let it get to me. I was so sure I would be fine, but then I went back to my room after filming, and I couldn't get Blamely's words out of my head. Julika barely had anything negative said about her ad. I think I got lucky, and I'm trying not to let it get to me.
Kitty asks the queens if there is anyone they thought they would have been in the top 4. Sonia says she thought Peridot would have made it. Kitty says initially she thought Julika might have made it. Hunk points out she got close. Emma says she thought Tigrera's villain story was going to carry her, but she ain't complaining it didn't. Hunk says Wise seemed like she was going to be competition. Sonia nods in agreement, and Kitty jumps in saying, but she turned out to be anything but competition. Which gets a laugh from the rest of the queens.
It's such a nice top 4. We've all fought hard to be here, and I know no matter what happens, we will walk away friends. But for now, there is one more challenge, and it's time for me to lock in.
I'm so glad to be this close. We're just 1 week away, and I want to be in that finale. I'm going to be giving 110% to stay. This is my season to win, and I'm going to win it.
The finale is just around the corner. And I am going to do whatever it takes to make it. I'm not true royalty for nothing. Who better to win the crown than a real princess? And I intend to win.
I've got 3 wins. My spot in that finale is practically guaranteed. I'm coming for my crown today, and I dare anyone to try and get in my way to stop me. This crown is mine.
Queens, I'm afraid we might have to stop production after today's episode. It turns out we only have the budget for one more challenge. Wait, it's the top 4? Never mind, we're just on schedule. Hunk won the mini challenge.
I'm honestly getting a little emotional. We've been competing for so long, and there's a bittersweet feeling knowing it's about to be over. But also, I'm so happy, and I'm going to make sure I have fun today.
Hello Queens. It's been a long battle, and the 4 of you have risen up to the challenge. Whatever happens today, I want you to hold your heads up high. For your maxi challenge, we want to go out on one of the hardest challenges yet. That's why we're having a ball.
Finally. The ball. This is a chance for me to get a second win before the finale. I know I can do it.
Yes. The ball. I've been wanting to redeem myself from the first design challenge. I've still got the lessons I got from Lance fresh in my mind. This is my week.
Do you know what Bill's favorite form of transportation is? It's trains. That's why I've decided to have a train ball, where you will have to make 2 looks. That's right, I said 2.
Oh shit. She really said 2.
First off, category is Conductor Realness, a look that attempts to capture the essence of a train conductor. Next, Choo Choo Chew It Down. We've brought in these train props, and you must decorate a train to match your drag aesthetic. And finally, Trains 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 for Days. You must create an eleganza look incorporating parts from toy trains. These toy trains have been provided by Ed's Toy Trains, Collector's Edition. They break easily because they only costed 25 cents, so have fun with that. Good luck, queens, and don't fuck it up.
So, I was hoping to have the chance to redeem myself this week. But now I'm worried that I'm in over my head. I wasn't expecting we'd have to decorate a large train prop, or make a dress with toy trains. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Sonia is working alone at her station. She sketches a look into her workbook. Then she rips out the page, crumbles it up, sighs, and sketches another look.
I'm also starting to really miss Julika. We've been working together throughout most of this competition. It feels quieter at my station now with her gone.
Kitty comes over and asks Emma how she's doing. Emma says she's at a loss when it comes to decorating the train.
Do you understand how annoying it's going to be for me to lug around this large train prop on the main stage? I'm a drag queen, not an engineer. I'm not competing to be the next cartoon train designer. I'm here to be the next cartoon drag superstar.
Kitty says she's got some ideas for hers, then she asks her how she's going on the dress. Emma says she's got an idea. Kitty asks what it is. Emma says she's going to make a ball gown, and have the train running around the trim of her skirt. Kitty says that's cool.
I think I'll be relying on my gown for this week. This train prop is going to drive me mad at this rate. I'm not feeling good about this challenge.
Emma asks Kitty what she's going to do. Kitty says she's focusing on the train of her dress. Emma asks what that means. Kitty says she wants to leave it a surprise. Emma says okay, and gets back to sketching.
So my plan is to make a train out of the toy trains. I'm not sure how practical it is, but I think that's the type of risk that might win me this challenge.
Sonia comes over to Hunk's station. Hunk asks how Sonia's looks are coming. Sonia says she thinks she's got a concept. She asks if she can work at Hunk's station today. Hunk asks if she's missing Julika. Sonia says yes. Hunk says she can. Sonia thanks him, and the two get to work on their outfits.
I feel like walking away from this season. I've made a lot of friends. Not just the queens here, but many of the girls we lost along the way. Whatever happens, I'm walking away with a lot of happy memories, and friendships I will cherish forever.
Sonia asks Hunk what their idea is. Hunk says he wants a moving train along his skirt. Sonia says that sounds exciting. Hunk shows her his sketch as Kitty walks over.
So I'm working on my outfit, and I overhear Hunk describing an idea that sounds awfully like Emma's.
Kitty asks Hunk where he got that idea from. Hunk says he's a mechanic, and when he saw the items they got, he knew it would be a way he could elevate the look. Kitty says alright and then walks back to Emma's station. Emma says what's up, and Kitty says Hunk stole her idea. Emma says what? Kitty says Hunk's also having a train on the trim of his skirt. Emma gasps, then walks over to Hunk's station. Emma asks Hunk if he's stealing her idea. Hunk says he's not sure what she means. Emma says that he's stealing her idea about having a toy train running along the trim of her skirt. Hunk says he didn't steal anything. He adds the idea isn't that hard to have. Emma says she thinks he stole the idea. Sonia decides to chime in, and admits she had the idea also, but she didn't think she had the ability to make that work. Hunk asks Emma if she even knows how to make that without her dress collapsing. Emma says that's her business, and she tells him she's going to show him up on the runway, and she walks back to her station.
Well, I ain't stealing her idea. And I am not switching it up either. I am here to win a crown, and I'm not going to risk losing it here. I do understand that Emma has trust issues. She's kept her distance in the past for that. So, I am not going to let what she said get to me. She's having a moment of paranoia, and that's nothing worth holding against her.
Hunk follows Emma over to her station. Kitty sees Hunk come by, and excuses herself.
I'm kinda gagged Hunk stole an idea from Emma.
Kitty walks over to Sonia. She asks her if she can believe what Hunk did. Sonia says she doesn't think he did anything. Kitty says he stole Emma's idea. Sonia says that's not what happened. Kitty asks Sonia if she's taking Hunk's side.
I'm sorry, but what is this bitch doing? I had to say something.
Sonia says she thinks it's interesting how Kitty always seems to find a way to insert herself into drama. Kitty says she doesn't do that. Sonia says she did that last week with Julika, and she's doing it again this week by starting a fight between Emma and Hunk. Kitty says she didn't start this, and Sonia asks her where Emma got the idea Hunk stole her idea, because she knows Emma keeps to herself other than Kitty, and that Hunk was working alone before she came over. Kitty says she had to warn her sister. Sonia asks if she warned her by saying Hunk's got a similar idea, or did you straight up accuse him of stealing her idea? Kitty says he did steal her idea. Sonia says exactly. Kitty groans, and says she thought they were friends as she walks off.
Okay, I know Sonia is missing Julika, but that wasn't cool to take it out on me. I have every right to defend my sister. I'm done with her.
I'm losing my mind with Kitty. Okay Diva, start more drama, get more screen time.
Hunk asks Emma if she really believes he stole her idea. Emma is quiet for a moment, then she says a part of her understands he didn't do it. But she's already so stressed, and she can't afford to think about anything other than the challenge. She asks if it's alright they save this conversation for when the challenge is over, and then she can apologize when her head is clear. Hunk says that's fine with him and asks if they can hug. Emma hesitates but says sure. They hug and return to their stations.
Am I a little embarrassed? A bit, but I'm glad Hunk doesn't seem to be too upset. I just need to get through this challenge, and once I'm in the finale, I can relax.
Sonia is doing her makeup when Kitty comes over. Hunk notices Kitty packing up, and asks her what's wrong. Kitty says he has a lot of nerve to talk to her after stealing an idea from her sister. Hunk says he didn't steal anything. Kitty scoffs, and says if he must know, she's going to be doing her makeup at her station. She then walks away before he can respond. Sonia says he shouldn't worry about her. Hunk then glances back to the workroom, and asks if Emma is still working on her look. Sonia says she's done worrying about what the sisters are up to. The two get to work doing their makeup.
Did Sonia have a fight with Kitty? She seems tense about the subject.
Emma is moving her dress when the skirt tears off. Emma screams, and Hunk and Kitty rush over. Hunk asks what's wrong. Emma tells them her dress has ripped, and she's not sure why. Hunk says let him look. Kitty tells Emma not to do it, he already stole her idea, but Emma tells Hunk he can look. Emma says the skirt is beyond repair. Hunk says the problem is the train track isn't stabilized, it's putting too much weight on the fabric. Emma says it's over, she's going home. Hunk says they don't have time to salvage the skirt, but he can stabilize the track to the outfit. Emma says she's already out of time, and Hunk tells her to go do her makeup, he can do it. Emma asks Hunk if he's sure it's her mess. Hunk says of course, and says he'll be quicker than her anyway. Emma says alright. Kitty tells Emma not to, but Emma says she's got to do her makeup. She shouts thank you to Hunk as she runs over to the mirrors.
Emma, what are you thinking? Hunk stole your idea, you don't want him working on your outfit.
Emma is quickly doing her makeup. Sonia says she doesn't understand why Hunk's bothering to help Emma after she accused him of stealing her idea. Emma says they've talked. Sonia doesn't say anything. Emma asks why Kitty isn't doing her makeup over here. Sonia tells her to ask Kitty. Emma asks if they had a fight. Sonia says she doesn't want to talk about it. Emma is quiet for a moment, then she says okay, and continues doing her makeup.
I can feel Sonia's energy, so I think I'll leave it alone.
Hello, I'm your host, Blanley Stacey Andrews O'Halloran, and welcome to the main stage of Cartoon Drag Race, Toon Madness. Please welcome our resident judge, from Inside Out and Cartoon Drag Race vs. the World, Bill Anderson. Bill, do you regret any decision I've made this season?
You not quitting and giving me the host position.
Shut your fucking mouth. And our extra special guest judge, the runner-up of Season 3, it's Keith. Keith, how excited are you to be back?
Bitch, I should have won Season 3.
Delusion. Anyways, this week it's the train ball, and our queens were tasked with creating 2 looks. Racers, start your engines, and may the best drag artist win. Category is Conductor Realness.
So, for my conductor realness look, I decided to pay homage to the many railway conductors in the world. Giving a little boy drag. I've got a neon vest, a hard hat, and I'm wearing a fake mustache. And I'm showing off these muscular arms. And I'm just locking eyes with the judges and letting them know. Yes, I am this hot.
For my conductor realness look, I come out in this fancy conductor costume. I've got this novelty stopwatch. And head to toe, I'm ready to shout, all aboard.
So, I've ridden some trains before. I come out in a conductor's suit from my home country. I've added a fancy monocle, and I am giving you the Royal Palace Train Conductor Fantasy.
So, for my conductor realness look, I come out hole punching a ticket. I toss it to the side and pull out another one. I'm so uninterested, I blow a bubble of my bubble gum. And I'm just selling this, bored out of her mind, train conductor.
Category is Choo Choo Chew It Down.
So, this giant train that I am hauling across the stage. I struggled with this theme, but I ultimately settled on one idea. I've plastered pictures of my face all over this train, because I am the main event. And this train is a statement to that.
Now, this train is heavy. So, as I walk, I'm just hoping my back doesn't go out. But anyways, I've decorated my train in silvers and rhinestones. I want my train to look glamorous and beautiful.
For my Choo Choo Chew It Down look, I decorated my train in yellows, browns, and earthly tones. My train conveys a natural harmony with the nature, while being sure to stand out and shine.
So, I decided to cover my train in trans pride colors. I'm not trans myself, but I wanted to show my solidarity with the trans community. Because we all deserve to have a place in this world.
Category is Trains 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 for Days. Honk, Sonia Nevermind, and Kitty had a great runway.
For my Trains 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 for Days look, I decided to elevate the concept I had originally. I'm wearing this black velvet ball gown, and along my skirt are rows upon rows of train tracks, and with every step, my toy trains are running around my dress. I've got the spectacle, and I'm just letting the judges take it all in.
So I walk out on the runway in this floor-length mermaid dress. I've used the toy trains to outline my figure. I've even made toy train earrings. And I've got trains hanging from my sleeves like fringe. And I lock eyes with Blanley, and I can see the awe in her eyes.
So, I ultimately gave up on my train skirt idea. It just had too many complicated aspects. Instead, I've got this fabulous white dress with a matching cape. I've got these toy trains I've glued to the dress coiling up the dress, then going over my shoulder, and snaking down the cape of my dress. And I know the judges are impressed, they can't take their eyes off me.
Emma had a good runway.
So, I'd like to thank Hunk for helping me fix up this dress. He did a great job. I come out in this sleeveless ruby encrusted mini dress. And I'm showing off these lovely legs. And hanging by wires from the dress is this circular train track. And as I walk, I have a toy train running along the track.
Thank you, Queens. We will now begin the judges' critiques. Starting first with Sonia Nevermind.
Sonia, I think you really shine tonight with your conductor realness look. I really connected to the character you portrayed, and this look right now is rich in detail. Sonia, watching you this season has been a real joy for me.
But I will say, when you turned around the corner, I could see you struggling with the train in your face. This is still a performance, and you do gotta remember to keep in mind the reactions you give. As that is the task, I also think you could have done more than painted silver and add rhinestones. Now, this look you're wearing right now is well constructed. There's a clear idea in mind for what you want.
Sonia, this is a beautiful look. There's a clear growth from what you came out in the premiere. What I will critique is that I think you focused so much on the dress's construction, I think you could have worked in more storyline to the look. But still, I have loved your performance in this competition, and this outfit is still beautiful. Up next, Emma.
I did like your 3 looks. Of the 3, I enjoyed the train look the most. I think it was smart to put your face over everything, and it made yours stand out.
As for your conductor realness look, I did understand the character, but I'm not sure that was necessarily the vibe we were looking for with this challenge. But your look read as train conductor.
And while I think you look good in this dress, it's my least favorite of the category. It's not ugly, it's just we got the spectacle of the moving train already with Hunk's look, and it was more elevated. And this is supposed to be an eleganza, so we needed more length to this dress. Overall this season, Emma, you've had big highs, but also big lows. Tonight, I don't hate it, but it's just not living up to where we're at the competition.
Up next, Hunk. Hunk, this was well constructed. The trains had us captivated the moment you came out on the runway. I imagine this is a struggle to sit down in.
If you could only imagine.
Hunk, I do think you missed an opportunity with how you decorated the train. The colors are you, but we were looking for something that makes a statement. And I think you could have done something to get our attention more.
Now I do like your conductor look. It may just be because I'm gay, but I think how you bring out how you view the world with your drag is important. And I think shined a light on the less travel side of the train business.
You mean the railway industry?
Those are words?
Hunk, you've held strong from the beginning to the end of this competition. Which is not an easy feat to achieve, and this was another strong night for you. And finally, Kitty.
I think you having like 5 different stopwatches was funny. And you had the stage presence needed. I think you knew the assignment, and you ran with it. Along with taking the chance to shout all aboard on the main stage.
Your train was one of my favorites of the category. In the world we're currently in, with such division and hate. It's unity and solidarity that we need the most right now. I thank you for showing your beliefs.
And this dress is a work of art. The way you use the trains like paint trailing across the canvas of your dress. The attention to detail. There is a clear understanding of the story you were telling on this stage, and the way you knew how to tell that story with this dress. Kitty, this is a great finish for your fantastic runway package on this season, and you have an eye for fashion. Great job this week.
Alright, I've made some decisions. Emma. Tonight, your train look didn't reach the station. I'm sorry, but you are up for elimination.
I'm just frustrated. I've worked too hard to go home now. I've worked so hard to reach this finale, and I'm not ready to go.
Hunk. Tonight, the judges were going in circles over your trains. Kitty. Truly you are a fashion icon. Sonia, never mind. The judges were impressed by your train fantasy. Kitty. Congratulations, you are the winner of this week's challenge, and you will be moving forward to the grand finale.
Oh my god. I just won the ball. And I've got a shot at the crown. The only thing that could make this moment better is Emma being with me. I need her to win this lip sync and send either Hunk or Sonia home. You can do it, Emma. And thank you, Blanley. Thank you.
Hunk. You are safe. That means Emma. Sonia, never mind. I'm sorry, my dears, but you are up for elimination.
So I'm in the bottom once again. But I'm not giving up this close to the crown. This is my season to win. I'm sorry, Sonia, but we can be friends when this season is over.
I swore to myself I wouldn't ever land in the bottom 2 again. But I've come so far since gym, and I'm ready to fight for my place in that finale.
This is going to be an interesting lip sync because Emma has 3 wins. But this is also her 3rd time in the bottom. And Sonia has been so consistent, I have no idea who Blanley will be sending home.
2 queens stand before me. Ladies, this is your last chance to impress me, and earn your spot in the grand finale. Good luck, and once again, don't fuck it up. The lip sync song is Dancing Queen by ABBA. Sonia, never mind, had a great lip sync. Emma had a good lip sync.
So, during the lip sync, I found it a bit difficult to move with train tracks hanging onto me. Hunk may have done the job of securing them too well, because I tried to pull them off and the wires wouldn't budge.
I've made my decision. Emma, Shantae, you stay. Sonia, never mind. You showed us that you truly carry the power of a princess, and the mark you've left on this competition will be remembered for a long time to come. Now, sashay away.
I should have paid Blanley to crown me.
Now I'd like to hear from the audience. Are you Team Emma? Team Hunk? Or are you Team Kitty? Let us know in the comments. Also remember to check the description to vote for this season's finale awards. And to my top 3, I will see you all on finale night. Now for the last time this season, you may go untucked. Back in Untucked, the queens cheer to being the top 3. Hunk congratulates Kitty on winning the challenge. Kitty just side-eyes him, and Emma tells Kitty to not act like that. Kitty says like what? The two stare at each other for a moment, then Kitty says fine, and thanks Hunk for congratulating her on winning the challenge. Kitty congratulates Emma on winning the lip sync, and she thanks her. Emma turns to Hunk and says she would sincerely like to apologize for accusing him of trying to sabotage her. She adds he clearly isn't trying to sabotage her because she actually tried to rip the track off for the lip sync, but she couldn't because it was too strong. Which prompts a laugh from the queens. Hunk accepts her apology, and adds he is going to miss Sonia, but adds it was going to be sad no matter who went this week. Emma agrees, and Kitty just takes a sip of her drink. Hunk and Emma glance over at Kitty, and Emma asks Kitty if she'd like to talk about whatever happened between her and Sonia. Kitty says she's not going to waste any time thinking about Sonia anymore. It's quiet for a moment, then Emma says she'll drop it. A TV is rolled into Untucked. It flashes on, and on the screen is Lance and Princess Allura. Hunk cheers, and Princess Allura and Lance tell him they're very proud of him for getting so far. Allura says they're hoping he brings another crown back to the Voltron dynasty. Lance says Hunk isn't allowed to get a crown before him. Hunk laughs, and Lance tells Hunk he's got this, and they're all rooting for him back home. The TV switches to Devin and Carrie. Kitty screams. Devin and Carrie tell Kitty they just went on a date to get ice cream, and they thought she'd like the ice cream at this new place. The two then say they're rooting for her to win, and they should go out to get ice cream when she gets back. They have this chocolate flavor she will love. Kitty shouts chocolate, and Emma and Hunk laugh. The TV switches to Noah and Owen. Kitty says oh. Owen says Noah just wanted to say something to Emma. Emma just has a blank expression. Noah says he's very proud of her, and he knows she didn't want him to be a distraction for her while she was on Toon Madness. But he has missed her ever since she dumped him the day she got the call for Toon Madness, and he was wondering if she'd like to go on a date whenever she gets back. Hunk whispers to Kitty asking her if Emma really dumped him the day she got the call, and Kitty tells him not to get her started. Emma is crying and she shouts that she will go on a date with Noah when she gets back. The TV switches off, and the queens bond while drinking their cocktails.